Welcome to Coffee with Viking. I am Mike. Cheers. Gideon's elite strike force. Judges 6:14. Go with the strength you have and rescue Israel from the Midianites. Spoken by an angel sent from God, this line sounds like a joke. The clue is the angel's timing. The angel is addressing an Israelite named Gideon, who's hidden in a hole in the ground. Gideon is hiding there because raiders have stormed into Israel's prime farming area in the fertile Northland. They charge in on camels from Midian, a country in what is now Jordan or Saudi Arabia. Each spring they come to steal the freshly harvested barley and wheat, along with all the livestock they can find. Many Israelites have taken to hiding in caves and rock dens in the raiding season. Gideon is hiding at the bottom of a wine press, which may have been just a hollowed out rock that looks like a big bowl. He's working in there, knocking grain kernels from stalks he had cut earlier. By working there, he won't be seen by Midianite scouts riding in the distance. Gideon argues with the angel, insisting he doesn't have any strength to fight Midian. Judges 6:15. My family group is the weakest in Manasseh, and I am the least important member of my family. Now, before we continue on with that, there's a side note here of history's first camel cavalry. Gideon's story is the world's first known report of anyone riding camels in battle. Camel riding raiders stormed in from the Arabian desert. These enemy hordes arrived on droves of camels, too numerous to count, and they stayed until the land was stripped bare, and that's Judges 6:5. Judges 6:5. For they came up with their cattle and their tents, and they came as grasshoppers for multitude, for both they and their camels were without number, and they entered into the land to destroy it. Fighters on camelback had several advantages over Israelite foot soldiers. Camels could: 1. Sprint twice as fast as the best Olympic runners. 2. Cover 5 times the distance most people can walk in a day. And last, they could cruise at 25 miles per hour for an entire hour, more than double the speed of a marathon racer. Gideon's strategy was to strike the Midianite camel cavalry while they were asleep. And on a side note to the side note, bumpy but fast, rifle strapped to his back, this camel riding herder in the early 1900s can cover 100 miles in a day searching for pasture for his flocks. Camels, which Midianites rode while raiding Israel, can sprint up to 40 miles per hour, offering quite the element of surprise. And they don't have to stop as often for water like a horse or anything, because they got the humps that hold water and keep them hydrated a lot longer than any other living creature. There's the picture that it was talking about. I will be with you, the angel answered, speaking for God. Gideon wants proof, miracles in fact, and the angel complies. A fleece of wool left out overnight is soaked with dew the next morning, but the ground around it is dry. The next day the opposite happens, dry fleece, wet ground. Gideon is convinced. An army of 32,000 rallies of Gideon's call, though that doesn't seem nearly enough to engage Midian's coalition of 135,000. Still, God says it's too many. God wants to make it clear that ridding the Midianite infestation is his doing, not the work of Gideon's soldiers. So Gideon, acting on God's order, cuts his army down to an elite fighting force of 300, which he does separate into three groups. So it's 100, 100, and 100. His men surround the Midianite camp at about midnight, then light torches and blow ram's horns. Horrified and confused by the nighttime sound and light show, the Midianite soldiers assume the enemy is already in their camp, so they start killing each other. Gideon chases down the runaways, killing them and their kings. After Gideon dies, the memory-challenged Israelites go back to worshiping idols of Baal, main god of the Canaanites. They forgot the Lord their God, who had rescued them from all their enemies surrounding them. Judges 8:34. Judges 8:34. And the children of Israel remembered not the Lord their God, who had delivered them out of the hands of all their enemies on every side. Never forget what the Lord has done for you, because he has done so many great things for all of us through the rough times and through the good times. And you got to look at it like this. I mean, how would you feel if you gave your all to others and they just forget you? That would kindle up some anger, and God's anger definitely gets kindled a lot, but his love also overpowers his anger, which is why he brought the 12 judges to save Israel every time they forget. Stay blessed. Stay caffeinated. Much love.